Hello and welcome to episode 8, Darcy, of They Don't Want It. Once again, we've got our man Aaron Macy, our stat man, behind the mic, and my partner in crime, old Darcy Lussick.
Yeah, just before we start, happy birthday.
Thank you, boys. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Gemini. Hey?
You and I, Gemini.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Well, it takes me back a little bit to when we used to have a few beers together.
Yes.
We used to blame our behaviour on being a Gemini.
Yeah, well, I've got about 7 personalities, not 2. I think you'd have about 13.
Yeah.
But
2 for every day of the week.
Mate, it's been a great long weekend. Birthday today.
Yeah.
Celebrating the king as well, obviously. And that's King me.
King Maituea.
Not the one over the pond. But and as always, Darcy, we start with our freak of the week, mate. I'm going to start today.
Yep.
A lot of great players in this round. Trindle comes to mind for the Sharks.
Yep.
Big wing. Talakai up there. Obviously, Lomax, mate, outstanding.
Yep.
Scores all those points for the Dragons, especially backing up off the Origin. But my freaks of the week have to go to all the Origin players that backed up. In particular, Luai and DCE. You know, 2 key positions, both play 80 minutes. Obviously, Luai has to play a whole game with 12 on the field. Yep. Tough game out at Penrith. And great game, actually. So my freaks of the week go to my Origin players, mate. What about you?
Mate, mine is another Origin player, Stephen Crichton. I thought he was outstanding.
Yep.
I actually remember Ricky Stewart saying one time that it's like the Origin players have to pride themselves on the way that they back up for their clubs, and I thought like you said, the Origin players were great. Stephen Crichton was great. I think he's been such a good signing for the Bulldogs. Sometimes when you see those really successful players, high-profile players, go to the clubs that are sort of struggling, they sort of struggle themselves.
They decline.
Yeah, decline.
Yeah.
But they gave him the captaincy, and mate, he's been outstanding.
I cannot speak highly enough of that kid and what he's done for that club. It speaks volumes of, you know, for someone that's so young, win 3 premierships, come over to the Dogs, get given the captaincy, outstanding in Origin, plays the way he did yesterday. He's just an athlete, a leader.
Yeah.
Like every time the camera panned to him, he was always speaking to his team, hyping up his team, rallying the troops. There was one stage where I think it was in the second half, and he called in Connor Tracy and Wilson and had just a conversation with them about what kind of shape they wanted to throw at them. They scored maybe 2 or 3 sets later. But that game in particular, obviously very happy that the Dogs won. Just their game management, like they're just making it really hard for themselves. You know, like not to go talk bad about any sort of situation, but Reid Marnie didn't need to go for that 40-20, 4 minutes after halftime, and he knows that. You know, he goes out on the full, they go down, they score. They had about 4 or 5 tries disallowed. Their scramble defence.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Like their effort, they're working for each other. When something goes against them, they're not dropping their heads like they have in the past. I think if you are a Bulldogs supporter like you are, Ren, you should be very happy. Very
happy. And, you know, I think the middle, the Hayward kid and Kurt Mann, the way they're playing through the middle, that third half, I know a lot of teams do it, just really complements Max King. Who's the other front row? I've lost off the top of my head. But just really complements their forward pack. They're a smaller pack. They're a mobile pack. Unfortunately, young Preston, you know, he looks like he's broken his ankle.
Yeah, he's been going good.
He's been going great.
Mate, I got a story about him, actually. I lived near Matty John's.
Please tell,
and we have a footy field near us, and I was driving home, might have been a couple of months ago, and, mate, he's there doing one-on-one work with Matty Johns.
Wow.
So... Yeah, he's obviously put in the work.
Is he a Manly junior?
I think he could be. Yeah.
He come from the country, but he came through the Manly system.
Potentially.
Because I think we did sign him from Manly. I could be wrong. You know, write in the comments if we did get that wrong. But I got offered to present his jersey in his debut game, and then obviously they realised that I wasn't high profile enough to hand him his jersey.
So who'd they give it to?
Oh, his parents. I got bumped off by his parents.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
But mate. What a player.
Yeah.
He started the year slow,
Yep.
and I thought maybe he might have had that sort of second year
Yep.
burnout a little bit. Unfortunately, he's broken his ankle. Kickout's another big loss.
Yep.
Obviously, we need him back. We need that punch on the
Yep.
edge. Salmon, his effort areas yesterday were unbelievable. But I just feel like that edge, we're just going to struggle a little bit over the next couple of weeks. Connor Tracy.
Yeah.
Where's he come from? Like,
Yeah,
I mean, we always knew he was good,
Yeah.
but burning that poor Darcy on the edge.
Yeah. Fast,
Poor
wasn't it?
Darcy had an Arsenal game. Like he struggled.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. So you at the moment you can't question the effort, like the way they work, and maybe there's lacking a little bit of class in some positions, maybe. So if you could go to market in the future, say you're Serrato and Gould, who would you be targeting? Like what position?
Man, that is so. I think we need a front rower, another front rower. Not to speak badly of any of the front rows, but just that intimidating front rower, because we've got all effort.
The James Graham.
Like the James Graham, the Marco Mealy, someone with that, added Fanua Blake would have been great. I'm not sure what happened there. Just that little bit more fear factor, because they're basing their team around effort, and effort wins you competitions. Look at Penrith, like we've already spoken about the conveyor belt. Just bring someone in, do your job within the system, you win. So, look, Sexton's been great. Connor Tracy's been, playing unbelievable at fullback. Jacob Carraz, they're just. I know we use this word and it sounds a little bit corny, but they are connected. They're a proper connected team. So that's enough about our doggies para. I just want to move on to last week's episode. We got a lot of views, Darcy, and we're very thankful. And just so we can speak to the people that viewed, maybe like, subscribe, comment, be engaged. You can follow us on the BTFU. What else have we got here?
Across all the socials, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, Spotify.
If you want to give me and Ren a bit of abuse on our own personal one, that's fine.
Of course.
We're used
straight
to that.
into no, but we honestly thank everyone for commenting. Obviously, a huge talking point was Origin. I think we've had time to reflect now, and everyone's sort of cooled the jets a little bit. And I think last week we weren't condoning, but we agreed with the send-off. And there's one comment I wrote on the YouTube comments was that we agree with the send-off. Our take is more based around the spectacle. Money, fans pay to fly in, pay for tickets, etc. Sets up a great game too. Ashley Klein made the right decision. And then I think Mark Wells 5269 said people also paid and travel to watch exciting players like Walsh. And I think that's a great take.
That's a fair point,
Fair point, right? The send-off was the send-off, and I don't want to get into it too much, but it's something that I wanted to address last week, and I just, under the bright lights, I probably stumbled a little bit and it just slipped my mind. But without going out into the situation too much with Sully, he hit him high. Reece Walsh was slipping. Send-off. We put some hypotheticals out there to how could we keep 13 on the field, and obviously if it's New South Wales or Queensland, obviously they keep the advantage. Now I just wanted to speak to being an edge player. Did you ever play on the edge?
In my junior years, and then I got too fat. So So you're the man to take us into this.
I'll tell you what, if I was playing now I'd be too fat to be on the edge too. But I played left centre, right centre, left half, right half, left back row, right back row, all through first grade. And I think it's important for people to understand that they had completely different positions, different looks, different peripheral, different detail. you're protecting different shoulders. So the fundamental is protect your inside shoulder at all times. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this up is that I think we got it wrong when we put Suoli'i on the right instead of Critter. Suoli'i can play right, but plays the majority of his footy on the left. Now, if you look at the tackle fundamentally, without the slip, whatever the situation was, he hit Walsh with his right shoulder.
Yep.
Fundamentally, if you're playing on an edge, you're hitting with your left shoulder.
Yep.
Your left foot forward, depending what different coaching styles you have. I don't know if it would have changed the outcome, but for someone who plays the majority of the season at the Roosters on the left, I just don't understand why Madge didn't put him on the left.
We think as well, like in training, you're doing all those reps as it would become second nature. So that's your feet position, your body position. You're looking up. When you get pushed to the other side, it's like foreign. It's like trying to use your left hand when you're right-handed.
Exactly. I found it really not hard.
Yeah.
I preferred left, but I did play a lot on the right. You're looking at different detail, different speed. Your tempo changes because you're going into tackles with different feet.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, if you're going in with your left shoulder on the right side, your left foot forward.
Yeah.
And now Suoli'i's hit him on with his right shoulder on the right edge. Imagine that was GI out the back and he hit him with his right shoulder.
Yeah.
GI would have knocked him out.
Yeah.
He hit someone in the hip.
Yeah.
So fundamentally he got it wrong. And that's all I wanted to speak about. I just wanted people to get an insight of edge defense is hard. And yes, you want edge players that can play both sides, but they're very, very different, which leads us into our left centre. Well, Critter will go to right centre. Who comes in at left centre?
Man, I'm sticking solid to what I said last week. Latrell, I said that he had to come out and put a good performance in. I thought we were talking before the show, and you said the word, he's got 1 foot in the door at the moment from his performance. Yep. I think he showed that, I still don't think he was at 100% on the weekend, but obviously coming back, I think they had the bye and then a couple of weeks off, man. I think he's just the class of him, and the soft hands. He double pumps. He hits Kenner, the right centre. Yep.
I don't know his name. Yeah, the right centre. Just looks long, plays short, plays with tempo into the line, changes games. He's back up. His kicks.
Yep.
Like he just
big body as well.
Big body,
big athlete.
He's the only one I can think of that can put fear into Queensland.
Like even though some shows that I've watched over the last week, and old Queenslanders are getting interviewed, they're saying we wouldn't want to come up against Latrell.
No, and we've all known that.
Yeah,
we've all known that, and this is where the decision becomes a lot harder for Madge, because personally, I don't know Madge that well.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, he's someone who stands on his laurels and his standards. And could he be in some way a little bit stubborn, even though he might think Latrell is the person for the job, that he doesn't fit into his system? What do you think?
Well, this is another thing. Who is another centre that's actually absolutely knocking down the door at the moment to get picked?
Because Tony Staggs started well until he had a bit of a knock on the knee. Bradman Best is coming back.
Yep.
Birdo is another option at centres.
Yep.
But, man, the facts of the matter.
Yeah. I just think that you put Latrell in there, he's going to come with a real attitude, you know what I mean? Like because he knows that he's put himself out there saying that he should be picked, obviously with the Instagram posts and everything. You put him in there, I think he's going to perform.
Well, you've said it before, he's the best centre that doesn't play centre.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a scary human. Yeah. Big boy, big fend. Where do our points come from?
Yeah.
And then you've got Lomax on the right, that attacking weapon there, and then you've got Latrell on the left.
Yeah.
So now we've got, and plus the form that Critter's in.
Crossfield kick option.
Who's the player that Queensland don't want us to pick?
It's Latrell.
That's the answer.
It's obvious. But, I think I've heard a lot of conversation around New South Wales have picked a Queensland team. with the same sort of attributes and effort and hard work and stuff like that. And I feel like that is the person that Madge is, but he has to do that as a club coach over 26 rounds, not 3 games.
Yeah. It's still a die.
It's still a die.
You know what I mean?
And like, that's why Latrell has to be in the team. Like he has to come and save us. Please, Latrell, come save us, bro. You know, like,
Madge, if you're listening, just pick him.
Yeah, just pick him.
We know you listen to the show, big fan.
Yeah, and if you got the 8th Immortal saying it, you know, like we just want to win. And Latrell is the obvious choice.
Yep.
What other changes would you potentially make?
Moses for Nico for Moses.
Mm-hmm.
I thought on the weekend Moses' first half was great. His kicking was good. Second half, the whole team sort of fell apart a little bit. Sort of lost their way a little bit.
Yeah. He showed his class when they tried to put kick pressure on him in the first half. Flick pass, Parascore in the corner. His kicking game is what's very important. And as you know, in Origin, it's a battle for field position.
I thought Queensland's kicking game was way ahead of New South Wales in round 1. I think we really need a good kicking game.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, look, Nico, I've got no problem with Nico. I just think he's just carrying this calf injury.
Yep.
I think, you know, he's got to make a selfless decision. If they say to him, look, we're going to give you another opportunity and say, mate, my calf might not pull up, then, you know, Moses is the obvious choice.
Bench. We're talking about the bench.
Yeah.
Before.
I would like to, I think Birdo needs to be on the bench, given that Latrell gets left centre. Birdo would be another potential option in left centre. He's been centre of the year in club footy before.
Won a comp there.
I've got to bring bring Birdo onto the bench, and I will definitely keep Spencer Leniu. Who else have you got on the bench?
Mate, I was thinking about bringing on Junior Paulo. Obviously, watching the Parramatta games this year, he's come off the bench a lot of times. I think majority of the times. And when he comes on, he changes the game from. You think bringing on Spencer and Junior at the same time, that would go to another level.
Mate,
even though Payne plays a lot of minutes, I just think Paulo's just been immense when he comes off the bench. Watching him closely yesterday, his offloads. His offloads.
His offloads, he was punching into the line. A little bit older now, but we don't need him.
No.
We need that Spencer Leniu intensity to just keep pushing through the middle. I really like that. I really like that. So who drops off if Paulo comes in? Well, who would be, so I've picked Birdo. I would say Spencer. You've picked Junior. One more.
I would keep Molly there.
Olakau'atu.
Even though he's under a bit of an injury cloud.
Let's say everyone's fit. You know, we've still got another round to get through.
Mate, the thing is, it's a hard one, isn't it? Like, no one played too bad.
So I like your Olakau'atu because I feel like as much of a beast Liam Martin is, I feel like he might be just carrying a little bit of injury. Like you didn't see it in the game. But like imagine just giving Liam a little bit of a rest and bringing Olakau'atu onto that right edge. And like when I've been talking about edges, specialist right edge, Martin specialist right edge player. He's played. Getting confused. Well, we got Crichton on the left anyway. Nothing changes there. So who misses out? We've got Yowie, we've got Hudson, and there have to be one more. Yowie, Hudson, and Spencer kept his job.
And Homoli was there.
Olakau'atu as well. So,
but I think they'd be unlucky to be dropped. I thought they all did their job, but it's desperate. We need something.
I think Madge will stick with the nucleus of the team.
I think he will.
I think the only maybe change he'll make is probably the Birdo situation.
That's just
the
exactly
14.
What I was thinking. I think he's not going to change two. I think he just might change one.
Yeah, he might just change one, and obviously the centre, and then there'll be a discussion around
Nico.
Yeah. So
everyone, leave your team, leave your bench in the comments on YouTube.
Yeah.
Tell us what you guys think.
Yep.
Just one quick question: if Moses wasn't injured, do you think Nico still would have got picked over in game one? Because Moses only had that one game. If he'd played 2 or 3 games, would Moses have been first picked?
Before Origin 1?
No, Cleary would have been.
Well, no, sorry. Well, Cleary's completely.
With the way that first game back that Moses played against Cronulla, he was the outstanding man of the match. His game was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I mean, Nico's form's been. It's just that he's hampered by that calf. And as the general public, we don't know how much he's actually hampered by it. You know,
in a must-win game.
Yeah.
Luai keeps his spot.
Yeah, I think so.
Luai and Moses halves. I'm happy with that.
Yep.
You know, I think Luai's form. He's just really stood up.
Yeah.
Like he's really taken control of his team, and he's just not in the shadow of Cleary anymore.
I think he's relished the opportunity to run that Penrith team, and especially I remember when he was off contract talking on those teams, and there was a lot of doubt. Oh, can he run a team? You know what I mean? He's always been in the shadow of Cleary, and I think even maybe Ivan might have come out and said, "Oh, is he ready to run a team?" Well, he's definitely ready to run a team.
You use the word relished. Players that are relishing when Origin players are out. For example, Cowboys.
Yep.
How well do they play? They're a different side.
Yeah.
They lose all their Origin players. They came down to Sydney. They beat the Roosters.
Yeah.
They come back and play on the weekend with all their stars back and get beat by a pretty good Warriors team. I thought the Warriors were outstanding.
They just look tired, the Cowboys. You know, I know they had six Origin players, but you know, we're talking about Origin players backing up before, and there's some good performances, but just, I don't know, maybe a lot of Queensland players maybe they're on the Terps after, but...
well, look, I think most of the Origin players are on the Terps after the
thing
game.
Is, when you, like you would know when you were coming through, when you get an opportunity, like you hate playing against a young... hungry kid, even like say at a training session when you do the wrestling, a young hungry kid who just wants to play, you know. So like they come out and they're hungry. That was one of the best wins of their the club history when they were like, what were the Roosters paying, $1.07 or something?
Nah, they were like $1.12, and then when Teddy came out, it was a big loss. But I was at that game, and the thing that you noticed was the defensive effort, their line speed and defense.
Yeah,
and one thing I think people have questioned is their defensive efforts this year. They actually played like a team. Where they seem to look like a team of champions.
Yeah. I mean, Todd Payton must be ripping what hair he's got left on his head out, like because, well, he's got none. But like to get all your stars back, and I was watching their defensive structure. Warriors score some unbelievable tries, like really good shape. No one has better shape than the Warriors when they execute. And now that Wade Egan, that no-look pass out the back. Tamari Martin, like where do you put SJ when he comes back? You keep him at 7, you put SJ at 6. But I was watching the Cowboys D. Obviously the Fanua Blake, that was just bizarre. Like if you're a middle and you get ran over, he runs over 3 of your middles, you start questioning, you know, the I don't know, not spirit, but like the toughness of your pack. And everyone sort of questioned Val Holmes' defense, but I feel like it's collective because it's starting from the inside out, where he's in two minds. And I'm watching the 2 young back rowers. I can't remember his name. I apologise. Then you got young Lukey, and they're spacing like 2 4-men, so 2 right edge, left edge back rowers, their spacing's off. Like fundamentally, as a left back rower or a right back rower, you never go inside the far post. You hold that post. You let your middles work out to you. They just seem to be so short on the edges all the time.
Do you think that's maybe the middles aren't working hard enough to release for them?
Well, is Drinkwater doing enough marshalling the troops around the middle?
That's the thing.
You know, and Dean Young was their defensive coach. Is he still there?
Still there? No, I think he might have gone back.
Is he gone back to the Dragons?
I thought he might have gone back to the Dragons, maybe.
I just think they're defensively, they're just not working together. their spacing's off. Obviously, their intent, and when you're down in confidence, it's like one player's doing this, another player's doing something else. It'd be frustrating.
Yeah. There's been a bit inconsistent, haven't they? Like they put a good performance in, and then they'll do a mediocre performance and a really bad one, and they're sort of hard to follow this year.
Yeah, look, and don't take anything away from the Warriors.
Yeah, they were good
because they found, like, I if there's one team that I love watching shape, it's the Warriors. No one runs shape when they execute better than the Warriors. Our Tigers. Benji came back with a beautiful tan, and obviously things didn't go too well. The first 20 minutes, Uppy Coruscant, like I can't speak highly enough of that guy. He was in everything, created everything. You know what doesn't get him picked in New South Wales? He's too creative.
Yeah.
He's too creative. Yeah. Like you need a preseason with him.
Yeah.
Like the no looks out of dummy half, start, timing. Like he was defensively, he fell off a lot of tackles, but he was in everything.
Mate, he can bang. I played with him at Manly, and like I remember one time I was like, I'm going to shoot, and you tip up your outside. Mate, he raced me to shoot on the front rower and beat me there.
Yeah, he's
I said, what are you doing? He goes, sorry, I was just too excited. Like he's tough. He's such a tough player.
Mate, they're made of granite, like, especially with the blonde tips. Mate, I feel sorry for him, mate, honestly. Like, I saw Benji's presser, and I just could not get my head around some of their fundamental errors. Yeah. Like, they were schoolboys. And, man, we've been in that position.
Yeah, for sure.
We've been in a position like the harder you try, the worse you get. Discipline, errors, they're up.
Yeah.
They're only 2 points behind at halftime, I believe. So, I mean, man, there's a lot going on at that club, and especially now the Lockie Galvin situation. Rumour has it. Again, allegedly, I don't like to talk about rumour, but he was apparently getting around the dressing room saying he couldn't wait to get out. His manager, I'll try not to get too emotional about saying this bloke's name, but I think most people know how I feel about this bloke. Isaac Moses has asked for a release, which is illegal, allegedly, again, because he's under contract till 2026. How would you feel if you were his teammate and if this was allegedly correct information?
Yeah, I read that as well, that he was getting around I don't know if I believe it, like, but as a teammate, if you have a new 18-year-old that's played a couple of games getting around saying he wants out and stuff, it's, I don't know, he wanted to play with him or whatnot. That's why I've just never seen it before, but I know that young people get poorly advised, you know what I mean? Yeah. And let's be honest, if he left the Tigers, he'll get an upgraded contract somewhere. But are you asking for a release if you don't have anywhere to go? That's another thing.
It's obvious.
Yeah.
It's so obvious. Like, and Shane Richardson's already come out and got on the front foot and said if we find that Isaac or his management team had spoken to the two clubs, Penrith and the Roosters, then that's breach. But
so I remember at the start of the year, he came out and said how much he loves playing under Benji. He's learning so much from Benji. Benji put so much confidence in him. If he sees something, play it.
You got Luai going there next year.
Yeah, Luai going there next year. But, 18 years old.
You don't want to...
You got a long time ahead of you.
I mean, you'll make that money up. And for me personally, I just think, don't ruin your reputation now, kid. Like, you've got still a long time in the game. You've played a few good games in a team that's struggling.
Yeah.
We can see the potential in you.
I rate him big time.
I do rate him. Like, there's no questioning his ability, but I want to believe that this is all a storm in a teacup, and it's just sort of grown wings from people just creating innuendo. But even Stefano knocking back a 5-year deal, like there seems to be a lot of big big problems out
The thing
there.
with Lockie, they're saying that he's playing with a broken wrist and he's having to be needled up. Is that an issue for
league?
Look, I don't care about that. Like we all play with needles at any point. Like if you said to Lockie, "Do you want to play this week? We're going to needle you up." I guarantee he's saying, "I'm going to play." Sure. If you're talking to some fringe kid in reserve grade, "Hey, we're going to give you an opportunity, but you've got a sore hand. Would you play with a needle?" "Yes, I'll play with a needle. I'll play with a needle every week." You know, like Canterbury. I heard Big Willie talk about this on levels, and obviously we're close, and we played our doctor, the late great Dr. Hugh Hazard. We didn't believe in needles. I remember one time in the O2 Grand Final, I broke my ankle, but it wasn't completely snapped, but it was fractured. And he tried to, because he didn't believe in needles, he put the needle in and broke the needle. He bent it while he was trying to, put the painkiller into my ankle. Bloody Dr. Hugh Hazard, thanks, mate. But look,
I still ran out there.
I tried to, ran back on and had to come straight back off. I think he actually needled the wrong ankle. Thanks, Doc. No, look, I mean, I don't think that's too much of a factor. If the hand was that bad, like the club do have a duty of care, but I reckon he's a tough kid. Yep. And he's saying,
I don't think it's coming from him. Like, I don't think it's coming from him. I think.
Does everything just seem to revolve around this Isaac Moses? Like, does he always seem to be causing this kind of trouble somewhere? You know, he's got his fingers in every pie. I swear to God, like, does he have his Lockie's best interest at heart? Yeah, we all want money. But as an 18-year-old kid, wouldn't you, like, morally, I know Braith as a manager wouldn't do it. Yeah. I know Tyron Smith as a manager wouldn't do it. We'd go, hey, kid, pump the brakes. Do your apprenticeship. You got Benji there. You got Luai coming. The money's going to come down the track. For Lockie's sake, for me personally, I'd like him just to do his apprenticeship and finish his contract. Don't ruin your reputation because your teammates, your engine room, your people that have worked hard around you, the people that have got you in that position to play first grade, are going to look at you differently. And then it makes you wonder, if you go to a stronger team, are you going to be able to trust that person when they've walked out on a club that's struggling?
He just needs to get out there, have a big crack. You know, at the start of the year, I remember that game against Parrot, mate. He won that game single-handedly. Absolutely. Got sent off. You know, get the team on your back. Say, come on, boys, let's go. 18 years old. He has a big crack. His next contract will be in the millions.
Absolutely.
And salary cap's got to go up and up and up and up, and he has about 15 years left, mate. Don't worry about it now. Just
bring him back from the Ashes, right? Imagine, like, the person that comes to mind is John Sutton. Like, Sutto is a South Sydney legend who went through the lowest of the low with that club and stuck with them and stuck with them and stuck with them, and then won a premiership in 2014. Now he's a South legend because he didn't hit the eject button and have the opportunity to leave that club. Like, for me, I think he's getting some poor advice. The kid, obviously, everyone wants to win. Everyone wants to be in a Roosters. Everyone wants to be in a Penrith. I used to want to go to the Broncos at one point, and I was like, no, I want to be in that club. But the way it's sort of playing out in the media, you know, like, even for an 18-year-old kid, at some point, he might be confident, but he's going to be copping some shit off the Tigers fans and the people that support him, the kids that turn up to watch him.
Agree.
All right, Mace, let's get into our round 15 preview. Who we got?
We'll kick off Thursday night. We have the Cronulla Sharks $1.33 up against the Dolphins $3.34.
Shark Park. Coming off a big win, you know. Hines has been named.
Yep.
Talakai played well. Trindle playing really well. Yep. Tough travel for the Dolphins team. I can't go past the Sharks.
Yep, Sharks for me too.
Moving along, we've then got a very cold night down in Canberra.
Yuck.
$1.63 up against the Cowboys, who really need to bounce back to form again. $2.28.
It was just one game you'd look in the calendar before the season started and go, when are we playing Canberra? I will play them Friday in June in the middle of winter. Cross that one off the list. Canberra to win.
Yeah, Canberra.
We've got South Sydney Rabbitohs after a big win, $2.39 against Brisbane Broncos, $1.58.
I've got South going on a bit of a run here. I've looking at their next 5 games. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think they can definitely win 4 of their next 5. I've got them beating the Bronx up there. I think they're struggling a little bit. A little bit of fatigue with Origin. Latrell, point to prove. He's got 1 foot in the door. He's just going to kick that door down now.
Get 2 feet. Yeah, put me down for South as well. I think he's going to make it. He's going to make a big point this week.
Cody's playing well too.
Yeah,
Cody's playing great at 7. He'd even be another smoky for Origin. We should have brought that in before.
Put him down as another smoky.
Is Ken Murray back yet?
This week, apparently, maybe.
But you've got Campbell Graham. You've got a few of those players coming back. They can go on a bit of a run.
Yeah.
I think they need to win 9 of the next 11 or 10 of the next 12. You imagine if they made the 8? Can you imagine if Latrell just carried this season on his back for the rest of the year?
Cameron Murray back in.
Cam Murray.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got South.
Yep, South on there.
South for you. We have West Tigers, $2.35 against Gold Coast Titans, $1.60. This is a bit of a battle at the bottom.
Where's this at?
This is at Leichhardt.
Oh, I'm going Tigers at Leichhardt. I think the last time they can't lose at Leichhardt this year. Struggling.
It's a bad place to go, Leichhardt.
It is.
As an away team, it's almost as bad as Brookie. I think...
Is AJ back yet?
No, I don't think so.
No Brimson?
Look, I think... Put me down for the Tigers as well. I think they're going to bounce back this week because Benji come out and said that if you don't start performing, you're gone. But who else are they going to
pick?
Yeah, I know. I think
is he going to put the boots on?
Mate, I think they're New South Wales Cup and everyone's struggling as well. But put me down for the Tigers. You know what? I hope they win.
You imagine Benji and Robbie Farah run back out just at Leichhardt.
Captain coach.
Just put them in. They got the win. Yeah, outstanding.
All right, can the Wars keep good form? $1.95 at home against the Melbourne Storm.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've got the Wars. And that's a bit of a rivalry, them two.
It is, yeah.
Melbourne and
Wars usually always get it over them.
Yes, and they usually win in Melbourne.
Yeah.
I'm going off the back of that confidence last week.
Yeah.
I'm going Wars.
Yeah, I think the Wires have sort of turned a bit. Like the start of the year, they were disappointing, and I think they're coming on quite well.
Well, they've just been up, down, had a bit of a slope, and then they put in that performance up in North Queensland.
But I think the Wires is definitely Melbourne's bogey team, so put me down for the Wires. I've tipped the Wires every week, so what the hell? Put me down for the Wires.
I'm going the Wires.
And then we move to the final game of Saturday. We've got the Parramatta Eels at home, $2.81 against the Chookies, $1.44.
Yeah, big game. Para showed glimpses of, improving, obviously, with Moses back. Just the Roosters, the class of, the way Walker's playing, Joey Manu, Teddy, Lindsay, Radley, they're a team that's, if they really want to put the foot on the throat, foot on the gas, they've got to do it now, the Roosters, because they have had a couple little slums, and especially that loss against the Cowboys, they'd be kicking themselves. Be interesting if our man Brendan Smith plays. After a little breach notice, which I've had plenty of.
As you would know, once you get a breach notice, you bounce back pretty hard the next week.
Exactly.
Put him down for man of the match as well.
Smith's out, not named.
Oh.
Your man Connor Watson back starting at 9.
Yes, there we go.
And then I've heard whispers around that he was named at 14 for the Blues before getting injured.
I believe it.
Really? They must have been listening to They Don't Want It, because we were the only ones who said Connor Watson in the 14.
Madge, big fan of the show.
Yes.
Put me down for Para, please.
Good on you, Madge.
All right, we move to Manly Sea Eagles at home, $1.48 Sunday Arvo footy against the St George Dragons, $2.67.
How hot's it going to be on a Sunday Arvo at Brookie? That's the question. On a cow paddock. No, I think Manly. Yeah. I'm going to go Manly. Fuck.
Put me down for Manly. Yeah.
No kicking donkey.
Or dogs. What the RSPCA around here?
He had a bit of a shocker with the boot, the poor kid. But I thought Manly were great in a lot of the game against Penrith, so I'm going to go Manly.
All right, and we close out the round up in Newcastle, $4 against the Red Hot Penrith Panthers, $1.25.
Penny Panthers.
Yeah, Penrith.
Beautiful.
All right, this week's Ride with Reni, I've got Canberra to win and Xavier Savage to score in the first 60 minutes for $3.
This week's Ride with Darcy is New Zealand Warriors to win and Dallin Watene-Zelezniak to score in the first 60 minutes, and that's paying $4.
What are you prepared to lose today? Set a deposit limit. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.